Hey there, folks. Welcome to Writing This Week. Here you see our writing process, and we have gone through the immersion stage and the collecting and choosing and developing and drafting, which means today we are on to revising. And so we're going to learn a couple of strategies or craft moves to help us revise our drafts. And then after that, we'll move on to editing and publishing. So our personal narratives are almost done and probably going to be done this week. So let's look at today's craft move, and it's called Be Precise. Good writers use just the right word to explain their ideas. They are specific and careful, and I would add they're very thoughtful about what nouns they use. Well, about verbs and adjectives and adverbs, but today we're specifically talking about nouns. And the reason I call this strategy Be Precise is because look at this. Instead of saying the word insect or fly, we would maybe use the exact name. It was a bumblebee. It was a grasshopper. Instead of saying a dog, we would give the breed, a Rottweiler, a German Shepherd. Instead of just saying, I saw a car zooming by, we'd say, I saw a Corvette zooming by, or I heard a pickup truck rumbling down the road. Being precise, naming exactly what it is we're talking about. Why? Because that's going to help your reader picture in their mind what you're talking about. Remember, this is a personal narrative. You have lived this experience. You were there. Your reader wasn't there. And it's your job as a writer to make them feel like they are there. And one way to do that is by being precise. Okay, so using specific words. So you're going to do that now as a practice. Flower. So instead of saying flower, what could you say? What's more specific than flower? Drink and shoes. You'll try it there. You can put two or three in each of those columns. Notice I came up with two for each one. So I'd like you to come up with at least two, and maybe you'll have some fun with it and come up with more than two. After you have done this page to practice it, you're going to go back into your writing, your draft, open up your draft, and you are going to reread it, look for nouns, person, place, thing, right? Those are nouns. Look for nouns. And are there any nouns that you can change and be more precise? Okay, that is your assignment today. And in fact, what I think I'd like you to do, and let me give you an example. Sorry, let's pause this for just a sec. All right, so I want to give you an example of what you're going to do. Here's my draft, and I'm going to reread what I've written, and I'm going to change anything that I want to be more specific. I'm going to look for nouns and try to be more specific. What I was going to say is when I change it, I'd like you to use this highlighting tool. Okay, and you can change it to yellow or any other color so that I can see what you've changed. That way, maybe if you sign up for a conference with me, we can talk about what words you changed. So that is your lesson today, is you're being precise on that slide I just showed you. And then you're also going to go through your draft and try to change as many nouns as you can to more specific things and highlight them. I'll give you an example. I trudged back down the hill in disbelief. Hill is a noun. Um, how could I be more specific? Mound. I don't need to. I actually think it's okay. I can't believe how steep that hill was. Another hill, but I'm not going to change that one. My friend was still at the golf ball he had found. Now, here's an interesting one. Friend. I could name my friend, but since this is actually just part of my story, I've already named my friend, so I don't need to be more specific there. The other noun I have is golf ball. And I would be specific if I name the exact brand, but the very next line does name a brand. So I'm not going to be specific. Let me actually find an example where I will. Down here, I set my bag down and pulled out a club. So I have bag and I have club. Which one would be better to be more specific on? I don't need to do both. I think club. I'm going to tell you the exact club I pulled out. I pulled out my 56 degree Grenade, sand wedge. I don't think sand would be capitalized actually. So I changed it. So I'm going to highlight it with my cursor. And then I'm going to go up here to the highlight tool and choose yellow. And that way, when I look at this and we talk about it, we can see exactly what you changed. Let's try one more. Still angry, I stood next to my ball and took a major whack. Whoops. The ball rocketed off low and to the right. It was a bad shot. Ooh, I'm going to change that. Shot was the noun. It was a bad shot. I'm actually going to change bad too. Let's call that a shank. That's what they call that in golf. When you have a bad shot that goes off to the right, they call that a shank. So notice I went from bad shot to shank. I'm being more precise. And the next thing I'm going to do, highlight it. Go up here to highlighting tool. It's right next to the A. And pick that same color. Try to do the same color every time. I don't care what color you do, but for now, pick the same color every time. So there's just two examples. You're going to do that same exact thing. Notice I'm not changing every noun because some of the nouns are okay. But I do want, if I can, I want to be more precise, and that's going to help my reader picture what I'm talking about. Okay? Go ahead and do that. As always, sign up for a conference if you need help.